Um, Peter, the
Just,
markets.
so, is this the red wedding?
I mean, no. Actually, what we're seeing right now is completely orderly selling. Well, two things here. There's the equity markets, and then bond market and commodities and futures and all that sort of thing, and then there's Bitcoin. Up until Friday, I was sort of wondering like what gives with Bitcoin because Bitcoin wasn't falling, right? So we had a 5% drop
Right.
on equities. So Nasdaq, S&P, Dow Jones, that sort of thing, 5% and more, and then we got a corresponding 15% drop in Bitcoin at the same time. Then after that, there's a little bit of pause. Then glorious Liberation Day happened, and another 5% down, 6% down, or whatever in the equities, and Bitcoin was like up 80 basis points. It didn't even go down. I was like, okay, what's going on over here? Um,
Not only Bitcoin, wasn't strategy up as well? I saw strategy up 12% or something.
was it?
I don't know. I saw this. Someone tweeted out something with a picture, quadrant picture of the markets, and everything was in the red, and there was MicroStrategy up. But that was a couple of days ago. That was 2 days
It
ago.
was up 4%. Yeah. But that bothered me, Peter. It really bothered me to see Bitcoin not drop. One, because it would have been perfectly timed to get in the last dip to get to 74,000 on Bitcoin. 74,000 on Bitcoin, as you know, I've been talking about and dreaming about and salivating about for the last couple of weeks now, saying that it's a level there that has not yet been mitigated. And it has not also been um, discounted from our yearly wave crossing it. So it's still a level that's still alive and well.
And
Still alive and well.
you were saying it might not go down there, but you were like, but it could go down there. And I kept going, I don't know. It looks like this is not going to head down there at all.
Well, it got close. It got to on the 14th of March. No, sorry, on the 11th of March, it got to 76.8, 76.9.
Oh,
So
really?
it was getting there, yeah.
I didn't know
And
that.
then it bounced all the way back up to 88. You'll remember that. And then I shorted it from there, and people are like, "You're crazy. What do you mean you're shorting it from 88?" It's like,
Oh,
no, no,
wait.
I'm shorting it.
I'm looking at the chart. I don't see it. I don't
I'll
see
pull it
it
up
down to
here.
76.
So it's over here.
Look at that.
It's beautiful. Um, so we had this drop here, this candle here in March 11th, 2025. We
Oh,
got the low of 76 and change.
oh, March 11th.
March 11th, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about since Liberation Day.
No, no, no. And then we had a run up to over here. Remember, there was the big trade up to this level.
Right.
And then I shorted it from over here. And people were calling me crazy for shorting it from over there. It's like, no, that's exactly the level we should short. And it's basically spot on. And then we head down lower. But over here, um, so you'll remember here, I was saying on last week's show that if we can get down to over here and then bounce up, that would to me would be the most bullish of cases. We
Right.
come down here, clear all the levels, nothing left to hold us down, and we could head back up. So the fact that we didn't drop on Friday, which was over here, that we didn't drop in this area over here bothered me. Okay, it really bothers me. Now I just follow the levels on the chart, so I don't have to worry so much about that. But it bothered me that it didn't drop. Um, because you're like, what's going on? What's the selling in the equities market? I mean, everything sold off. Gold sold off, rates sold off, tech, um, everything. I think all the sectors were down, or almost all the sectors were down. And then Bitcoin wasn't. I was like, strange. And other cryptocurrencies fell, but not Bitcoin. So there was a case to be made there. And I was actually saying this during the week that, hey, maybe because liquidity, our liquidity tracker is saying that we are going to get a rise in liquidity, maybe that was being sold into the price, right? What do I say all the time? You can have corrections in price or in time. And so it could be that sort of thing that we're not going all the way up, but because like we're not actually blasting up, but because that selling it or that buying is being eaten up by a bunch of selling over time. So that could always be the case. But I'm actually a little bit more relieved to see what is it, the 4% down today. Um, because that would be more in line with what I'm expecting to see from equities. Whenever I tweeted this out on the Traders Post account, whenever you see the markets close at the lows, so here the markets close at the lows of the day, like it didn't bounce all the way back up, it closed near the lows of the day, it means the selling's not over.
Right.
I said the same thing over what was it? Over, I can't remember which candle it was, but it was earlier, somewhere early over here. Um, no, it wasn't there. It must have been this one over here. But I don't know. I can't remember exactly. But there was another low, and then we had a little bounce after that. I was like, okay, fine. I don't care so much about the bounce. The bounce was not. It's a dead cat bounce. It wasn't even a. It was barely a dead cat bounce. It was a dead bowling ball bounce. It like barely bounced at all, and then we rolled over to new lows. Um, you'll notice over here when we take a look at wave on the S&P, wave is over here. This is the yearly wave over here.
This is a
There's a
Nasdaq.
bounce. This is so yeah, Nasdaq bounce up. We moved up towards the volume weighted moving average. We didn't quite get there, and then we rolled over here. We bounced again up to the volume weighted moving average, and then over again. So our tools work just as well for the broader indices. And where did we land to? We went from one of the wave levels to where? To the next wave level. Actually, we're at the volume weighted average price. So chances are tomorrow, at least, we get down over here and then we get a bounce.
Okay, bounce and then okay. Anyway, I got so many questions. All right. So
Back to baby Bitcoin.
this is
So
all because of Liberation Day? Like this is because of the tariffs, or is there something else, or is it a confluence? Like what's going
yeah,
on?
it's because of the tariffs. Remember, uncertainty is volatility. That's what volatility is in the markets. The range of possible outcomes is wide. If you have the big bingo machine or whatever, and they have the balls rotating around inside of it, well, the more balls there are in there, the more likely any given number can show up. And if you only had 3 balls in there, well, your bet is far more likely, and so you have less volatility. The range of possible outcomes decreases. And so this tariff stuff, one, because of the wishy-washiness at the beginning, we don't even know what the specific ones will be, when it will be happen. Is it going to be? Has it already been decided? Is it negotiations on the side? Is it happening on the second? Is it happening on the third? How much? No one knew. And so billions and billions of dollars came off the table because, can you imagine you run a $10 billion firm and you're like, I'm just gonna let's just see what happens. Just leave everything the way it is and see what happens. No, you're not gonna have your job tomorrow. So
So Warren Buffett
pull
knew
up
about
money.
this.
Well, he started selling way earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we all know that Warren Buffett is a tool of the government industrial complex, and that he's
Yeah,
used
so
to
he's the bellwether. Like they knew this was going to happen. Like the first when I first saw this, I was like, Warren Buffett must have known. The guy's sitting on what $300 billion cash.
No, it's more that the signs of a recession coming are all over. And so, because when you're dealing with hundreds of billions of dollars, you can't just decide next month to sell. You got to start your selling 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, whatever earlier. And so the recession looks like the recession was scheduled for September of this year. That's where we would see a big market correction to start, and then the recession bleed into the population. But tariffs looks like it kickstarted it, sort of like how COVID kickstarted the drop that was already going to happen. And so the question now is, has the recession been pulled forward? So instead of happening in September of this year, has it been pulled forward to now? Are the lows in? What is the market pricing in?
All right.
So